Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music, and this video is going to be about the legendary Velvet Turner Group. And of course, a lot of collectors know about Velvet Turner Group now, and the record was reissued again in 2019. And Velvet Turner was living in New York in 1966, and actually became friends with Jimi Hendrix in a very unusual situation. Jimi Hendrix became his mentor and basically taught him a bunch of things about playing guitar. And Velvet Turner obviously took it to heart because his guitar playing is very influenced by Jimi Hendrix, as well as his writing, as well as his vocals, as well as the way he dressed. And he started wearing more flamboyant clothes, and obviously stands out as another black man playing rock music, influenced by Hendrix. And he didn't put out any records until 1972, and it ended up being his one and only album. And it's really a shame in a lot of ways. He obviously has a lot of talent, but the Hendrix influence is very pronounced. But he put together a band with Prescott Niles on bass, Christopher Robinson on keyboards, and Tim McGovern on drums. And the name Tim McGovern may sound familiar because he eventually ended up in both the Motels and the Knack. Um, so how he went from the Velvet Turner Group to those bands is kind of an interesting mystery. But the album was put out in Germany on Philips in 1972 and released as sort of a semi-bootleg in the U.S. on Tiger Lily Records. And Tom Wilson, who did a lot of work for MGM and Verve and worked with both the Velvet Underground and the Mother's Invention, was involved in the production of the record. And Velvet Turner actually showed up on an Arthur Lee record as well. So there's another Hendrix connection. But the record itself, there's a lot of mystery involved with it because there's two different versions. One is a soul version that's a lot softer and a lot more like what you'd expect from a black soul artist, and it's very convincing of that. But there's a second version with added guitar overdubs that's very Hendrixy, very hard rock, and the guitar orchestrations are very much like Hendrix in his later period. Think the Cry of Love album. The vocals are very reminiscent of Jimi Hendrix, and the lead playing is also very much like Hendrix. And no surprise that Hendrix mentored him, and he was involved in a book talking about Hendrix's guitar methods, and it really shows. And there's even a reworking of the Hendrix tune "Freedom" on the record, and that's one of the things I can say about it the most. It's just very blatantly Hendrix, but that's for a lot of years that would have been a criticism, but it's not now. There's a lot of artists who are very, very influenced by Hendrix that took a lot of flack over the years, including Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush, Black Kangaroo, Robin Trower, Arthur Lee, and then we have Velvet Turner, and he's the most overt about his Hendrix influences, but he gets away with it because he's very convincing. He has that Hendrix connection. The material's really strong. The playing is really strong. The only way you can tell the difference if you get up an original copy of the Velvet Turner Group record is to look at the matrix number, and that's the only way to tell the difference between the rock version and the soul version. I picked it up in a used record store probably in about 77 or so, 76, 77, and I got the hard rock version, so I was pretty happy with it. I was really surprised later to find out there was another completely different version of the record that's more of a soul pop record. And the reissue that came out in 2019 actually has some tracks from the soul version of the record, and then mostly is the hard rock and Hendrixy versions of the songs. So it's a good mix. And so if you're a Hendrix fan and you don't have any problem with somebody being very, very influenced by Jimi Hendrix, the record is a real winner. It's worth checking out. And as usual, I'll post post the album below and you can check it out. So if you haven't heard the Velvet Turner Group, you're a Hendrix fan, you're going to be in for a big surprise. And if you just like good hard rock records from the 70s, it also qualifies there. But I think it's a wonderful record. Um, I think I can't detract from it at all because of the Hendrix influences and Hendrix connection. And it seems like all the guitar players, young guitar players that were around Hendrix, including Arthur Lee and Randy California and also Velvet Turner, all were heavily influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and not surprised any young person, a young musician who became friends with Hendrix and was around that kind of musicianship, it was bound to rub off. So anyway, Velvet Turner Group, if it's new to you, you're going to have a great time. If it's not new to you, then enjoy it. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.